What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we cover everything going on in our country that you need to know about. We got some crazy stuff happening here in our country right now. Check this out. The US is going to be stop buying vaccine shots for the public this fall. Here's what this means, and this could actually cost you a lot of money. And a lot of people are questioning, why is this happening to begin with? Also, Congress is making some big votes here on, well, some concerning stuff here as well that I'll let you know about here in a second, actually. But check this out. Yeah, the US government will stop buying vaccines at a reduced price for the entire country and will shift to distribution to the private market as soon as this fall, shifting the cost to US insurers and uninsured Americans who stand to lose access to them completely because there's going to be a cost associated with them now. And if you have a deductible, well, then there's probably going to be a cost associated to you as well. I mean, I have a $5,000 deductible on my health insurance policy. So that means that if I wanted to get one, it would cost me money and they would no longer be free. The White House response coordinator for this said in an interview with the UCSF Department of Medicine here that the shift to the private market will happen over the summer or this fall. No date has been set yet. A senior official with the Health and Human Services told CNBC the fall would be a natural time to transition to the private market, particularly if the FDA selects a new strain for the vaccines and asks the manufacturers to produce updated shots ahead of the respiratory virus season. But get this, for the past 2 years, the US has bought the vaccines directly from Pfizer and Moderna at an average price of $21 a dose. But guess what the prices are going to be now? Go ahead and take a guess. Yeah, it's going to be a lot more now that we have to pay for them, right? Pfizer and Moderna are said they are considering hiking the prices for them to somewhere around $110 to $130 per dose once the US government pulls out of the vaccine program. Yeah, is that's not price gouging? Please let me know your thoughts on this because it's literally just pharmaceutical companies taking advantage of people once again. Quote, if you're uninsured, then you might be faced with the full cost. Yeah. Or if you have a deductible, you probably or might be faced with the full cost as well. Yeah. Let me know your thoughts here on this because yet another thing that is going to basically hit Americans in their pockets. Of course, if you want to get this or not, it's totally up to you. Also, we just had some big votes here on the House floor and some big decisions going on here with the new Republican controlled House. Take a listen to this.
COVID origins questioned. As we've covered, a recent Health and Human Services Inspector General report found the National Institute of Health missed opportunities to better monitor whether the tests in Wuhan involved dangerous pathogens with pandemic potential. Let's welcome to the show Congressman Greg Murphy. Congressman, good to see you. Thank you for being here.
Hey,
we should mention you're also a medical doctor. Now, tomorrow, the House is set to vote on two COVID bills. The Freedom for Healthcare Workers Act, that would eliminate the COVID vaccine mandate for healthcare workers, and the Pandemic is Over Act, which would end the public health emergency declared for COVID. Congressman, I understand you're going to vote yes for both of these bills. Why?
Well, I think that, the data is clear. The public health emergency, while still people, sadly enough, are getting COVID and dying from COVID, the whole ramifications of what that bill means are over. The keeping of 18 million individuals on Medicaid when they don't qualify for the existence, the allowance of certain things in telehealth, in substance health abuse that should not be occurring. It's really the ramifications of what the public health emergency has allowed. And Biden has weaponized his powers during this entire endeavor, and I think it just needs to end.
Now, what about states like New York, for example, that are not going to be hiring back people that they've fired, the unvaccinated health workers that they fired? Would your law overrule the state decision on that matter?
Well, it's a federal law, and any institution which will get federal funds, i.e. Medicare or Medicaid, would be subject to that. And the sad thing here is I think the intent is good to try to keep our healthcare workers healthy and not transmit this onto patients. But we know that COVID, the vaccine itself, really does not affect transmission per se. And there are a lot of population that really do not benefit from this vaccination.
Now,
the risks involved are not zero. And so I think it overall is really the correct thing to do.
Congressman, what about the NIH and their role in the pandemic? I mean, particularly in funding what appears for all the world to look like gain of function research.
Yeah, well, David, you'll never convince me, and I really believe that this is a fact. We can't prove it because China scrubbed that lab 10 months before WHO went over there. But if you look at A+B=C, I believe that lab was doing gain-of-function research, was doing it specifically on this virus, and then it leaked out somehow. And this is what started the entire pandemic. But if you go back and look at what Fauci's done, he's been very much an advocate for gain-of-function research to try to create viruses to predict what might be one created in nature in the future. And what the NIH did is they funded an intermediary, Eco Alliance, which funded the Wuhan lab to do such gain-of-function research. The bad part is that NIH did not follow its rules and regulations. There was not a correct oversight allowing this lab, which is a very leaky lab, as it were, to let what I believe is the virus out.
Doctor, when you look at the NIH, when you look at all of the federal agencies, the CDC, et cetera, that have given out such bad advice over the past 2 or 3 years, as a doctor, what does that mean for the efforts that doctors make to try to convince patients to do the right thing?
David, this has really hurt medicine. The fact that Fauci came up and he'd flip-flop, the fact that Dr. Walensky at the CDC would flip off also, or she'd do something by the teachers union, it's hurt the institution of medicine, and it's hurt patients' reliability and trust in doctors, and I don't know how long it's going to take for us to get that back.
It's a shame, and it really is hurting the health of America. Congressman
Absolutely.
Murphy, good to see you. I hope you stick with it. It's a tough battle, but it needs to be fought.
Yeah, so let me know your thoughts here in the comments. Now, with the Republicans in control of the House of Representatives, they say they're going to be subpoenaing Dr. Anthony Fauci for a lot of questioning. And we'll see, it has not happened yet. But with Dr. Fauci retiring, there's going to be a lot here up in the air, and we'll see what happens here. You can see this quote here in California. Fauci says anything is possible in the pandemic's future. Yeah, this is an actual quote from him. I will actually zoom this in. Yeah, the retired public health guru says the nation should stay on guard as Biden winds down the emergency health orders. And remember, the 13 million people on Medicaid are now going to lose Medicaid once that comes to an end, which the pandemic is going to actually end. Biden has announced it, that the pandemic will end on May 11th unless something happens before then and it is extended for one reason or another. You can let me know your thoughts here on that, and if you think something could happen. But one thing is for sure is that the Republicans are going to be looking into this pretty big when Dr. Anthony Fauci takes the stand, what we might get here, and if he testifies, or who knows, he might actually plead the fifth. We've actually been seeing a lot of that here recently from a lot of different people here. So it'll be interesting to see if something like that happens. You guys let me know your thoughts if that actually happens or not. Yeah, House Republicans on Monday commissioned a special investigative panel focused on the pandemic, hoping to leverage their new powerful majority to press scientists and federal officials about the origin of the public health crisis and the government's response to it. Party lawmakers officially chartered the new effort in a sprawling package setting the chamber's rules for the next 2 years, awarding it a sweeping mandate from looking into vaccine development, school closures, and other mitigation measures to examining the roughly $5 trillion in emergency federal aid approved since early 2020. And remember, there's about $500 billion of unspent money as well that who knows what they might do with. We'll see, because now Congress is actually talking about it again. So let me know your thoughts here in the comments, and I'll keep you up to date here. I'll link you to some videos you can watch next here as well. If you haven't yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on new videos. I'll keep you up to date here on all this stuff that comes out here up to date, and a lot of the stuff you won't see on your local news channel, that's for sure. So make sure to subscribe and then click the bell icon so you don't miss out on new videos here that come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, thanks for liking and sharing these videos. Here's some videos you can watch next. Here's a video about the CIA director talking about China with an invasion. And here is a video about new Social Security benefits. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.